Buying a home is one of the biggest investments you'll ever make. But what if that dream home comes with hidden nightmares? From sneaky water damage to unpermitted work, these issues could cost you thousands or worse. Today, I'll walk you through the 10 red flags that you need to know about before you sign on the dotted line. Number 1 is definitely structural issues. Cracks in foundation, walls, or ceilings could be more than just simply something cosmetic and could mean major structural damage. Look for uneven floors, sagging ceilings, or misaligned doors and windows. These can signal long-term structural shifting. Pro tip here, bring in a structural engineer if you see significant horizontal or vertical cracks in load-bearing walls. Number 2, water damage. Water stains, moldy odors, or peeling paint can be signs of water damage. Check basements, attics, and around windows for discoloration or moisture. Outside, you're definitely going to want to inspect gutters and downspouts. First thing you're going to want to do is to make sure that the gutters are not completely stuffed with leaves, dirt, debris. I've seen houses where there's actually plants growing out of the gutters. It's so bad. So you definitely want to make sure that those are clear, number 1. Number 2, you're also going to want to make sure that the gutters are properly fastened to the house. I've seen plenty of situations where, because of snow and weight in the gutters, where they're pulling away from the house, and so the water doesn't even hit the gutters. It just goes down and falls straight down at the foundation before it even gets into the gutter. So the gutters pretty much are deemed to be useless. When it comes to downspouts, you're going to want to make sure that the downspouts are leading away from the property, that they're not just going straight down. And what I see is most home inspectors that I've gone out with on home inspections, they usually suggest that those downspouts lead about 6 feet away from the foundation of the house. The other thing that needs to be brought to your attention is that sometimes there are sellers who don't disclose everything they should, so you're definitely going to want to rely on your spidey senses there, and I would always suggest that you get a home inspector involved with the property to do a good, thorough home inspection evaluation. Number 3 is outside electrical systems. Fuse boxes and flickering lights are usually a huge red flag for outdated wiring. And of course, older homes may not meet today's standards when it comes to electrical systems, so they may actually pose a fire risk. Fixing an outdated electrical system usually means a full rewire, which could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. So once again, get this inspected, because you know what? As long as you understand this stuff going into it, hey, no problem. I mean, maybe you're kind of budgeting, well, you know what? I love this house so much, I'm okay investing $10,000 or $15,000 in rewiring. That's no problem whatsoever, but you want to be aware of it, because what you don't want is a surprise, because the one thing I will tell you about the real estate business is no surprise is ever good. Number 4 is pest infestations. Termites or rodents, the signs can be subtle, but the damage can be devastating. You're going to want to check for droppings, hollow wood, or mud trails along the foundation. Either one of these signs can mean that you could either have termite or rodent damage and infestation. These issues aren't always a one-time fix. Pests can cause ongoing damage throughout the time you own the home. One of my pro tips would be, when it comes to termites and wood-destroying insects, is to have your house inspected once or twice a year. Cost is relatively minimal. It might be $100 to have it inspected. This way you stay on top of it, stay ahead of the curve. You go to sleep on these things, you could find yourself with a lot of damage. Stay on top of the termite and the rodent situation. Now, before we jump into the next set of red flags, if you're watching this video, there's a decent chance that maybe you might be thinking about either buying or selling a home yourself. The first step I would always say when it comes to either thinking about buying or selling a home is to really make sure that you contact and align yourself with a top agent. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know that my view of most agents is not very good. I would actually say that 80% of them really suck. However, 20% of them are very good, and I network with some of the top agents throughout the country. In your area, if you're working with an agent that you love and you trust and you know is on the ball, great. However, if you'd like a referral, I'd be happy to go ahead and make that referral for you. No obligation, no cost to you whatsoever. Easiest way to do this is you could either scan the QR code on the screen right now. It'll take you to a form. You can just fill out some information. I'll get that information, give you a call. Don't worry, guys. I'm not going to stalk you. I'm not going to harass you or anything like that. 5-minute call just to kind of get familiar with each other, kind of get a sense as to what you're looking for and how that agent can best help you before I make the handoff. You can either scan that QR code, or you can click the link in the description box below that says agent referral right down there. If you need any help with that, love to help you. Number 5 is unpermitted work. Now, open floor plans today seem to be all the rage. You see it on all the TV shows about, we want open concept, this and that. Hey, look, I'm all for that as well. I love the open concept look. However, if you've got an older home and it's completely wide open, most likely some walls have been taken down at some point. So you're going to want to check to make sure that that's permitted, especially to make sure that there are no removal or move removing of load-bearing walls. You're gonna always want to check for permits on major renovations like electrical wiring, plumbing, or structural changes. Now, where I live here in Montgomery County, Maryland, you can find out on any house, public record, permits that were pulled on houses. Not sure that that's gonna be the way it is in your neck of the woods here. You may want to check into that to see if there's any local websites that do have permits on there so you can kind of check in and, do the due diligence yourself. Without permits, you could face expensive repairs in the future, and you may also find that it's difficult selling your home later down the road. Number 6 is neglected maintenance. This is something that I see, unfortunately, all the time when it comes to, once again, like things like clogged up gutters or a yard that's just simply overgrown and not taken care of, shingles falling apart. These are signs that the owner has not been taking care of the property. And I always say, if there's those things that you can see and you see that those aren't being taken care of, what about the things that you can't see, like the plumbing, the electrical wiring, things like that, HVAC systems? So pretty much what I find is most home sellers who don't take care of their homes the way they should don't discriminate. And what I mean is they don't do anything. You definitely want to keep your eyes open for the things that you can see, and then also understand and budget into the consideration that these are things you can see. There's probably going to be plenty of hidden issues as well. And just to piggyback also on this, this is just one more reason why you're going to want to get a good home inspector to inspect the property. I also think it's important, once again, to have a great realtor. Now, listen, I am not a home inspector. I am not a structural engineer. I'm probably one of the least handiest individuals you've probably ever met. However, I do have a good eye for things. I've been doing this for 30 some years. I've been on countless amount of home inspections, so I have a good eye for what is right, what's not right, good feel for what the costs of certain things are going to be, because I do these type of things all the time. However, if you ask me to fix any of these things, we're going to be shit out of luck on that one. Number 7 red flag is mold and unusual smells. That fresh paint smell, it could be masking something else like mold or potential smoke or fire damage. Musty odors oftentimes signal either water damage or poor ventilation. Definitely one of the things that I see a lot too that you probably want to check on, and I see this more on, I would say, older homes that were built maybe in the 60s and before, because a lot of times you've got these cinder block foundation walls, and cinder block is very porous. So, with the cinder block walls, moisture will come in and you'll see the discoloration where the original cinder block is like a light gray, but then with the moisture it becomes kind of a dark gray. So you'll see it in some areas, maybe not in other areas, but there's moisture behind the wall. Also times you can see like a calcium buildup as well, kind of like a white powdery residue. When you see those cinder block walls painted, especially if they were painted recently, to me, that's kind of I wouldn't say it's a red flag. A lot of times people just do it just to kind of looking better and it's more cosmetic. However, it could be masking something else. So once again, when in doubt, definitely going to want to consider doing mold testing or air quality testing. I'm not saying you're going to want to do this on every house necessarily, but when you see telltale signs, red flags, you want to up the ante and look at doing tests. Number 8 red flag is high neighborhood turnover. This doesn't have anything to do with the physicality of the house. However, you're going to want to research the area as well to see what type of homes have been sold, how many homes have been sold. And you know what? You probably do want to get a little bit concerned if you see a high number of homes in the neighborhood have sold recently. Now, I will say this, that sometimes I see this every now and then. You'll see maybe 4 houses on the same block, maybe within 20 houses of each other, sell maybe within a year or 6 months. And, sometimes it's coincidental, but oftentimes what it is too is you've got neighbors who know each other, and then once one moves, then the other one decides to move. And I've seen that plenty of times. I've had that where I've sold 3 houses on the same darn block within 6 months of each other, and it's usually neighbors who know neighbors, and they're figuring, well, you know what, if the Smiths left, then I guess then we're gonna go ahead and leave too. So I would say if you see anything more than 10% turnover in a community within a year, it probably is something that you want to check more into. And it's fine to ask questions. You probably want to check into, like, are the schools declining, or maybe was there a change in the school district? Sometimes that can have a big effect on people where they move into a community because it has one school district, and then all of a sudden the school districts change and they're like, you know what, heck, we're out of here. So there could be reasons for it. Are you seeing the areas around it declining? I mean, this could be a tip off as well. But I will definitely tell you, you don't want to overlook how neighborhood trends can ultimately affect the long-term value of your home. Number 9 is poor location. Now, you know what they say about real estate, the top 3 things in real estate. We all know what this is. It's location, location, location. There's no doubt that location can either make or break a home's value. You're going to want to think about commute times, proximity to shopping, proximity to parks, major commuting, things like that, as well as public transportation. information. Is this property close proximity to some of these things that most people are going to be interested in? If so, then this probably is a good area that you want to consider, especially if you find the right home. I would also say that some HOAs and condos will have some very strict rules. So you're definitely, if you're looking to purchase in an HOA or a condominium, you definitely want to make sure that you look through all the condominium documents, HOA bylaws, rules, regulations, budget, all those things, and make sure that, you know what, you can stand living in this area here, because being under a HOA or condo that where the rules are too strict and you're not used to it could ultimately be like the dagger of death for you. So check into those things, make sure you're okay with it before you move forward with purchasing the property. And number 10 is inspection red flags. And when it comes to inspections, you definitely want to make sure that you focus in on the main things that are the most costly. And those things are going to be like roof, obviously the structure of your property, the foundation, HVAC, plumbing, and things like that. Those are going to be the main things that cost the most amount of money to either replace or repair when the time comes. And I would definitely say you're going to want to attend the inspection if possible. I always say that, you know, beyond just having the home inspected, one of the good things is when you're working with a top inspector, he or she not only will be able to point out defects, but they'll also be able to give you a good feel for, based on things like the age of the roof, HVAC, how much life you have left in it. So that kind of helps you for budget for the future, as well as they also will give you tips on how to get longer lasting life, greater efficiency and everything. So I would definitely say whenever possible, you want to attend the home inspection with the inspector and typically with your real estate agent. So there you have it, my 10 red flags of how you know you're buying a bad house. Nobody wants to buy a bad house, but once again, the more that you know in advance, the more that you understand the process and know what to look for, the better off you're going to be and make a smarter decision when it comes to purchasing a home. Hopefully you found this video helpful. However, if you have more one-on-one or more specific questions that you need answered and you'd like to talk to me one-on-one, I would love the opportunity to do so. Once again, you're going to want to scan that QR code on your screen right now, or click the Calendly link in the description box below, and we can set up a one-on-one video conference where we can talk really about anything you want to for 15, 20, 30 minutes, you name it. I'd love the opportunity to do that and help you, once again, make good, solid, smart decisions when it comes to buying or selling real estate. Thanks so much for watching my video, and I will see you next week.